When we think of Kung Fu Panda, what instantly comes to mind is that perfect mix of humor, action, and a story that defined a generation. But deep down, what truly made this franchise unforgettable wasn't just Po's jokes or the incredible fight choreography. The real treasure of this universe lies in its legendary warriors. Few animated works have managed to bring to life characters as iconic as these. And it's not just in the movies. Even the series managed to expand this world and introduce figures that feel like they were pulled straight out of ancient Chinese legends. Now, do you really believe Oogway and Po sit at the very top of this universe? It might seem obvious, but I promise you, the list of legendary masters goes far beyond them. Here, we'll talk about dragons in the literal sense. Shadowy entities that could only be defeated by mythical figures like Sun Wukong and fighters who defy all logic. However, above them all stands a master so mysterious and powerful that his legend has endured for generations. It's said he doesn't even need to lift a finger to defeat his enemies because his mind is his greatest weapon. Can you already picture who that is? Then grab your bowl of dumplings and get your Furious 5 action figures ready, because it's time to discover who the most powerful warriors in the Kung Fu Panda universe truly are. Once the trusted companion of Oogway, and one of the very first to learn the art of chi manipulation from the pandas, Kai proved himself to be a true prodigy. However, he was ultimately banished to the spirit realm by Oogway himself after attempting to steal chi from others. In the world of spirits, the mighty yak spent over 500 years perfecting this ability to drain chi, eventually growing so powerful that he even managed to defeat Oogway in battle. Yet, in a way, the wise tortoise allowed this to happen. After all, Kai's strength grows with every soul he drains. Having already stolen the chi of countless kung fu masters in the spirit realm, including Oogway's own, Kai became powerful enough to re-enter the mortal world. While he is a master of close combat, Kai often prefers to fight using his jade blades attached to long chains. These chains strike from great distances with devastating force, capable of shattering massive boulders. Even the Jade Palace and Oogway's statue fell victim to their destructive power. Another of Kai's terrifying techniques is his creation of jade zombies. Every victim whose chi he steals is transformed into a small jade amulet, which Kai can reanimate at will, restoring their original bodies. But these warriors are no longer themselves. The jade encasing them strips them of free will. They fight only under Kai's command, wielding every skill they possessed before becoming his puppets. Their vision can also be shared with Kai at any time, and no matter the distance, he can summon them back to him instantly. With a level of chi so overwhelming that he could defeat nearly every kung fu master in existence, only direct chi attacks could even begin to harm him. In fact, it was only Po's dragon warrior form that carried enough energy to match Kai's power. And yet, even as a chi thief, Kai could not withstand the combined life force of Po and the pandas of the village, ultimately falling in defeat within the spirit realm. Throughout the history of Kung Fu Panda, there was an enemy so powerful that not even Oogway or Po could defeat him alone. This enemy was K-Pa, a demonic dragon remembered as the very first true dragon warrior in history. Known as the King of Demons, he commanded an entire army of monstrous creatures under his rule. K-Pa was, without question, one of the most terrifying adversaries ever to threaten the Valley of Peace. But beyond his overwhelming strength, he was also deceitful and opportunistic. He attacked Oogway at his weakest moment, right after the tortoise had exhausted all his energy, sealing away the demon army. That's how K-Pa managed to defeat him with ease. To rise again, Oogway needed his chi to be restored by the legendary sacred peach tree. Only then did he regain the strength to face K-Pa once more, and this time seal him inside the body of an ordinary mortal pig, stripping him of all his powers. However, that prison would not hold him forever. As the first leaves of the sacred tree began to fall, K-Pa slowly regained his strength. With each leaf that touched the ground, the pig host grew faster, stronger, and even developed powers such as telekinesis and levitation, eventually surpassing Po in combat. When the final leaf fell, K-Pa reclaimed his true form as a demonic dragon. He returned to breathing fire, commanding lightning, soaring through the skies, and resurrecting his army of winged demons. His power was so devastating that within moments, he destroyed the Jade Palace and left much of the Valley of Peace in ruins. Not even Shifu, Po, and the Furious Five combined could withstand his onslaught. Just like Oogway before him, Po needed to receive the chai of the hero blessed by the sacred peach tree in order to stand a chance against K-Pa. Only with this immense power was he able to defeat the demonic dragon and bring an end to his reign of destruction. But don't think for a moment that this was the last time a dragon brought terror to the Valley of Peace. And at last, we arrive at him, the legendary Master Oogway. Little is known about the early years of this ancient tortoise, but in the third film of the franchise, we learn that long before becoming the wise sage we know today, he had already led armies and was renowned as a near unbeatable warrior. More than mastering martial arts, Oogway developed his very own fighting style, one that would, over time, become nothing less than the Kung Fu of the Kung Fu Panda universe. According to ancient records within the saga, Oogway is considered the true creator of Kung Fu. During his journeys across the world, he visited the Panda village and became the first outsider to learn their art of chi manipulation. By sharing this knowledge with other masters, he gave rise to legendary techniques, such as the iconic Wuxi finger hold and the famed nerve attack used against Tai Lung. Oogway's connection with Qi was so profound that he could summon massive energy barriers or unleash devastating blasts of power against his enemies. In his youth, he single-handedly faced and defeated K-Pa's entire demon army, wielding what is known as the Hero's Chai, a mystical energy granted by the universe itself. But don't be mistaken, Oogway didn't use this gift solely for battle. He could just as easily heal wounds, restore strength, and shield his allies with the same mastery he used to strike down his foes. And while his appearance as a frail elder might be deceiving, one should remember that Oogway once caught Kai's jade blades with his bare hands, blades powerful enough to shatter massive stone blocks as if they were nothing. Even so, Oogway never sought violence as a solution. He only resorted to combat when there was no other choice, most often to protect something of immeasurable value, such as the Dragon Scroll. In his travels, he faced and guided warriors who would later become kung fu masters in their own right, including Master Thundering Rhino, Master Croc, Master Ox, and even Master Monkey, who was once nothing more than a mischievous trickster. And even after his passing, Oogway's legacy has never faded. His bond with the spirit realm was so deep that he became one of its eternal inhabitants, preserving there all the power and wisdom he carried in life. It's time to talk about him, the legendary dragon warrior Po. From the very moment he was chosen to carry that title, the panda proved he was far more than a lucky underdog. He was a true prodigy. Over time, he developed his own fighting style, the so-called panda style, a set of unconventional movements that catch any opponent off guard thanks to his creativity and spontaneity in battle. And if there's one thing that defines Po, beyond his enormous heart, it's his lightning-fast ability to learn. In no time at all, he mastered techniques that would take other masters years to perfect. A prime example is the legendary Wuxi finger hold, capable of sending enemies straight to the spirit realm. The pinnacle of his journey, however, came when he finally mastered Qi. It was at that moment that the true Po emerged, unlocking the full form of the dragon warrior. In this state, his energy manifests as a massive golden dragon surrounding his body, granting him not only the ability to attack in multiple directions at once, but also the freedom to soar through the skies like a mythical creature. In this transformation, Po can unleash devastating waves of energy and even disintegrate anything that comes into contact with his chai, as he demonstrated when destroying Kai's weapon. His power grew so immense that his energy rippled throughout the entire spirit realm, overwhelming even Kai himself. But that was far from the end of his evolution. In the animated series, Po continued to reinvent himself and expand his arsenal of techniques. Among them are the Silken Moon Touch, capable of creating a colossal explosion with a single strike, and the Paralyzing Touch, similar to the technique once used against Tai Lung. He's also revealed awe-inspiring moves, such as the Golden Lotus Palms, which create a blinding aura that repels enemies, as well as legendary secret techniques like the Thunderous Wind Hammer and the Magnolia Fireball, 2 of the 12 so-called impossible moves. And as if all that weren't enough, Po also gained access to the hero's Chai, the same cosmic force Oogway used to seal away an entire demon army on his own. With such a vast arsenal and unbelievable power, it's hard to imagine anyone capable of surpassing the great dragon warrior. But could there actually be someone worthy of that challenge? Well, the next name on our list just might prove there is. Have you ever imagined what it would be like if Oogway had chosen the path of darkness? Well, Jindao represents exactly that idea. Like Kapa, he was regarded as the true original Dragon Master. At his core, he was a demonic dragon who, around 1,000 years ago, trained 4 legendary warriors known as the 4 constellations. However, after being corrupted by darkness, he displayed power that far surpassed even that of his own disciples. That is why, with Oogway's help, the 4 constellations had to unite in order to separate Jindao's soul from his body, containing him once and for all. Yet his power was so overwhelming that, even in defeat, his essence managed to merge with the body of a vulture. The cost of this victory was steep. All members of the 4 constellations lost their lives in that battle. Even after millennia, Jindao continued to exist thanks to both his draconic nature and his most dangerous technique, Qi absorption. This ability not only grants him vitality and instant healing from wounds, but it can also be used to amplify his power or even transfer energy to others. In his vulture form, he retained access to an arsenal of Qi-based techniques, including energy attacks, mind manipulation, the summoning of shadow creatures, teleportation, clairvoyance, portal creation, large-scale telekinesis, and devastating strikes capable of taking down multiple opponents at once. His ultimate goal was always to claim the Chai of the sacred pool, said to be the very source of all Chai in the universe. When he finally acquired this power, Jindao returned to his original dragon form. In this state, his abilities reached unfathomable levels: devastating energy blasts, even greater aerial agility, near immunity to Qi-based attacks, and the terrifying power to unleash green flames. The only way to confront this monster was to combine the Chai of Po, the 4 constellations, and all the pandas, empowering them with the energy of the sacred pool. Even then, all they managed to do was once again separate Jindao's soul from his body and seal it inside the spirit urn. However, this does not mean that he has ceased to be a threat forever. Known as the immortal trickster Monkey King, Sun Wukong is one of the most legendary figures in the entire Kung Fu Panda universe. Inspired by the famous Monkey King from Chinese mythology, he appears in the franchise with a lighter, more humorous personality. But don't be fooled. Behind that playful demeanor lies a warrior capable of striking fear into even the greatest masters. Centuries ago, Sun Wukong was falsely accused of plundering the legendary Red Jade Mine. As punishment, the gods imprisoned him, sealing him away for 500 years. They also stripped him of his most treasured possession, the magical crown, the source of much of his incredible power. Yet even after being freed half a millennium later, Sun Wukong remained astonishingly powerful. His kung fu skill rivaled that of Oogway himself. However, what truly set him apart were his supernatural abilities, which extended far beyond the traditional use of Qi. He demonstrated powers such as telekinesis, levitation, teleportation, creating copies of himself, and even manifesting objects from thin air. On top of that, he could grow to colossal sizes or completely alter his form, transforming into any creature he wished. At the height of his strength, especially when wielding his magical crown, Sun Wukong was virtually unbeatable. Proof of this lies in the fact that, when the demoness Bai Gujing attempted to steal his soul centuries ago, even with all her immense power, she was utterly destroyed, her essence sealed deep within the earth, and his feats are not just a thing of the past. Even in modern times, when Bai Gujing returned in a colossal armored form, strengthened by the very crown that once belonged to him, Sun Wukong was able to face her as an equal, remarkably, without even wearing the crown. With his cunning, his mastery of Qi, and a strength bordering on the divine, Sun Wukong is without a doubt one of the most formidable characters in the entire franchise, a warrior whose brilliance and power can challenge even the will of the gods. If there is anyone who has truly unraveled the deepest mysteries of Kung Fu, that person is Master Yao. While many warriors spend their entire lives studying techniques and styles, he has reached a level so advanced that he has mastered the very rules that govern the universe itself. Some even say Yao can perform kung fu moves using only his mind. Gifted with unparalleled wisdom, Yao was the only one capable of deciphering the riddle of the sacred scroll, and he did so at only 5 years old. By the following year, he was already recognized as a prodigy. But such brilliance came at a steep price. He chose a life of complete isolation, dedicating himself to endless meditation, severing all ties with the outside world. This solitary path made him the ultimate guardian of Kung Fu's deepest secrets, amassing in his mind limitless knowledge and a power that seems to come from the cosmos itself. Many believe he possesses a form of omniscience, as he has demonstrated the ability to read thoughts, watch events unfold in real time anywhere on the planet, and even glimpse the future. And whenever anyone asks him how he is able to achieve such feats, Yao simply answers, "Because I know everything." What truly makes him a legend is the fact that he is the only living being who knows the 5 mystical secrets of Kung Fu. The first is the Iron Heart, a technique that multiplies one's strength 1,000-fold. The second is the Clap of Stillness, capable of freezing anything in time. The third is the Jinshan Storm, granting the wielder the power to summon lightning and thunder. The fourth is the Furious Yanxin Strike, whose devastating energy levels everything within a 100-meter radius. And finally, the Wings of Light, which allow the user to soar freely through the skies. You may have seen other characters using these abilities, but that was only possible because the secrets were stolen from Yao's mind through a machine created by Tao Ti. Much like Oogway, he avoids conflict whenever possible, and rarely engages in battle. Despite being virtually invincible, he often acts like a distracted old man, leading many to underestimate his true power. Now tell me, how many of these characters were you already familiar with? And do you agree with the order we placed them in here? Share your thoughts in the comments, and of course, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss our upcoming videos.